Good day, everyone. I'd like to welcome everybody to the SuperTalk. We have a special treat today. We have an opportunity to visit with our District Teachers of the Year at the elementary and secondary level. For our elementary District Teacher of the Year, we have Mrs. Maria Llanos. She's a pre-K teacher at Fields Elementary School. And our secondary District Teacher of the Year is Mr. Joseph Weaver. He's a science teacher over at Cathy Middle School. He also coaches golf and is a big part of the robotics team. So I'm blessed to have this opportunity to be visiting with two of our phenomenal teachers, and I want to welcome you all. Thank you all so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having us, Doctor.
And as I was thinking about today's chat and thinking about the opportunity I was going to have to visit with you all, the first thing that came to mind is this greatness that you all bring to the table. You know, I've been watching The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, and he just really brings this level of expertise, and he really hones his craft and puts in a lot of work. And as I started to think about you all, I started to think, well, you all are the Michael Jordans of your profession. You put yourself in a position to separate yourselves and to be distinguished as District Teachers of the Year. And it says a lot about your work ethic. So that being said, I thought, well, really, what inspires somebody to go into this field? So, Mr. Weaver, for you, what inspired you to go into education?
I grew up at home with educators. Both my parents were high school teachers. And so really it was, being a teacher hadn't really crossed my mind because I saw everything that they went through. I actually went to school to study to be a speech therapist. And I did that for several years, but the opportunity to teach science at the middle school level came up, and I jumped at it. You know, I was constantly surrounded by teachers my entire life, family, friends, always at the house, you know, constantly being taught something, whether I wanted to be taught or not at the moment. But, you know, it was just, I had great teachers. I had great teachers, I had great coaches. Who always pushed me, and so that was a big part of my life.
Very good, and we're blessed that you chose the profession. We're blessed with McAllen ISD having the opportunity to benefit from your skill sets and everything that you're bringing to the table. Ms. Llanos, I know that you put your heart and soul into what you do. One of my favorite parts of the day when we went to go surprise you is just the passion that you showed for being so proud, Mr. Weaver and Ms. Llanos. But in thinking about Ms. Llanos, your reaction, the passion, and everything that you shared with us and how proud you were, what inspired you to go into education, Ms. Llanos?
I would say two of my childhood best teachers, my parents. You know, being coming from a family of 7, and being the 4th child, it was kind of difficult, you know, but my dad would always tell us, you know, you have to work hard for what you want, trabajen duro, and that was the main reason we came from Mexico to the United States, because my dad wanted the best for us. So of course, this is like what inspired me, you know, and that's why I'm here.
And we're blessed that you are here, and I can relate to that. I'm the youngest of 5 children, and my father was an educator, and he's a big part of the reason that I chose the field of education. My sister and a lot of my family are in the field, so it is something when it's a family tradition, and I can see that with Mr. Weaver and Ms. Llanos, that you're talking about family traditions and this whole big push to be the best. And I know that to be the best, we talked about Michael Jordan, we talked about The Last Dance, we talked what it takes to get to that level of performance. But with that, there has to be some level of inspiration. So, Mr. Weaver, who's your inspiration?
I mean, it goes back to my parents. I saw everything they went through. My mom stayed at home with us growing up. She actually started teaching, I think I was a freshman in high school. So she went back to college. I got to see her struggle through that part of her education, having been out of school for so long. My wife, who also teaches here in the district, one of the things that we still joke about all these years later is that when I was making the transition from therapy into teaching, she said, "Don't be a teacher. You're going to be a horrible teacher." Just because I was I'm very much the introvert. And I was so used to a one-on-one with my patients. And so that pushed me a little bit more. But my second grade teacher is someone who she no longer with us, but she was an early inspiration for me. She really was the one that ignited my passion for science, and so that's been something that I've kept with me ever since.
Very good. And Ms. Llanos, from an inspirational standpoint, who would you say is your inspiration?
I go back to my parents. I
Yeah.
guess because, it's my, I don't have so many childhood memories, but the few that I do have is like, I would never see my father because he would work at a produce warehouse. So his shifts would vary, and my mom, well, she was a at-home wife. So it was more her structured and her teachings. So I felt I need to be, I owe it to my parents. So they inspire me to like do my best. And,
And that's a beautiful message. I know that as Mr. Weaver was talking about, his experiences and the fact that his mom got an education later in life and was a teacher. My wife's a teacher also, and she stays at home with our little ones right now. So I know the impact that a mom can have and the impact that a dad can have. And it's a nice thing to hear as a father that all these years later, for Teachers of the Year to be going back to their root of inspiration, really being their parents. And to all the parents out there, just know the role that you're playing in the lives of your children. And that's really the backbone of their future. So I do want to commend the parents in McAllen ISD for everything that they do, but I also want to challenge the parents in McAllen ISD and really across the world to know that the impact that you have on your children and their future. And we have two examples in our Teachers of the Year from McAllen ISD that are saying, I'm here because my parents challenged me and gave me structure and did all these things that I needed. So that's a beautiful message for all of us to keep in mind as we move forward. And another question that I have, Mr. Weaver, what does it mean to you to be selected as the district secondary teacher of the year from McAllen ISD?
A lot. I mean, just being selected as the campus teacher of the year was more than I was expecting. But it shows me that I am having an impact on my students, on my community, being able to push, being able to challenge my kids in the classroom, the robotics, out on the golf course. And so it's validation for me. It shows me, it tells me that I am doing something right. I'm doing a good thing.
Very good. And I do want to commend you because I have the opportunity to go across the district and I can tell you, we have phenomenal teachers in McAllen ISD. I mean, you see that A back over my shoulder there, and we earn that together as a district because we have phenomenal teachers across our entire district. We're on the post-secondary readiness distinction as a district because we have phenomenal teachers. The accolades go on, and I can only imagine what it feels like to be selected amongst this crop of secondary teachers as the district teacher of the year, and that is definitely validation, and it's well deserved. Ms. Llanos, same question for you. What does it mean to you to be selected as the McAllen ISD Elementary District Teacher of the Year?
It's an honor to be selected as the District Elementary Teacher of the Year. It's like winning a Golden Globe, for teaching,
Yeah.
for something that I love to do, and I'm passionate about teaching. And as you can see, I owe it to my students because that's the reason why I'm here and my why. And it's a gift to represent McAllen ISD to go into regions.
Yeah, very, very good. And I agree. It is like a Golden Globe. It's a big honor because this is your craft. It's what you do. It's what you work so hard on. And whenever you can be validated, especially by your peers, and then not only by your peers, but then at the district level to be selected and have the opportunity to move on to compete at the regional level in a very high-powered Region 1 is something that I'm looking forward to, because I know that we have two phenomenal district teachers of the year in McAllen ISD that are going to go in and compete very strong. And that's why I make reference to The Last Dance. If you haven't seen the documentary on Michael Jordan's last years in the NBA, it really exemplifies excellence and the work ethic that Michael Jordan put in. And that's one of the things that I've always looked at, is that if you're going to do something, then work very hard to be the very best at it, to be the Michael Jordan of it. And I can say with all the confidence in the world that I'm looking at two Michael Jordans of teachers, just the very, very best. And my final question for you all is, and we'll start with Mr. Weaver. Mr. Weaver, what message do you have for your students and their parents?
They throughout this whole thing, this unprecedented time that we're kind of all working through right now, they've done a phenomenal job. They're all working through their own challenges, as are the rest of us. My wife and I both teaching from home, having to make sure we're taking care of the baby and keep up with the 5-year-old schoolwork. But I've called some parents throughout this thing, and they said, well, we're working, and so we're busy, and we're trying to stay on top of everything. But they've all done a phenomenal job, given the circumstances. We've had some parents out there who were some of these essential workers who were working through the early part of this, and so it puts a strain on them, on their household. But they've done a phenomenal job, in just trying to remain flexible. But yeah, I mean, it's been interesting for everybody, but they've done a great job with it.
Very good, and I'm sure that they would appreciate hearing that from an outstanding teacher like yourself. And Ms. Llanos, my last question for you also is, what message do you have for your students and their parents?
Message for my students and parents, I would say that I miss them, I love them, and I can't wait to see them. This is not just with my pre-K students, but the whole Fields Falcons. Your teachers miss you, and we can't wait to see you and keep on soaring high, and échenle ganas.
No, and that's a great message, and I couldn't agree more with both of you with regard to the message to our community. To Mr. Weaver's point, our parents and students are doing a phenomenal job, working hard and getting through this as a community. I'm very proud of the effort that our community is putting in, that McAllen ISD is putting in, that our teachers are putting in, and we're flourishing in this environment, as difficult as it is. And to Ms. Llanos' point on the love and the fact that we miss everybody, and the fact that we do want everybody to keep working hard and to keep their chin up and their shoulders back, and to be proud of the effort and the products that we're putting forth is something that's important to me as superintendent of schools. So Mr. Weaver, Mrs. Llanos, on behalf of the entire McAllen ISD family, on behalf of our Board of Trustees, I want to congratulate you all and commend you all for being selected as District Teachers of the Year, and let you know that we're very proud of both of you. And want to just challenge you guys to keep doing the great work and keep inspiring this entire district. So once again, congratulations.
Thank you. We will.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.